everybody, and welcome back to Pentapyramid Radio Station. It's great to have you with us for another deep dive. I'm Orion.
And I'm Iris, always excited to explore new ideas and perspectives with you.
Me too. And speaking of perspectives, today we're tackling a bit of a head-scratcher. It's one of those things that, well, sounds kind of contradictory at first, like how can something be true if it's saying the opposite of itself?
Ah, you're talking about paradoxes. I love those. They really make you think, don't they?
Exactly. And the one we're diving into today is something I think a lot of people grapple with, especially as they're figuring out their path in life. You know, the whole passion versus practicality thing.
Oh, yeah, the classic dilemma. Follow your dreams versus be responsible. How can we possibly reconcile those two?
Right, like we're told to pursue our passions, do what we love, but then there's also this pressure to be practical, make a stable living and all that. So how do we find that balance? Is it even possible?
Well, I think that's what we're here to explore today. And actually, there's this really interesting concept from Japan called Ikigai that might offer some insights.
Ikigai. Okay, I've heard that word floating around, but to be honest, I don't really know what it means. Fill me in.
Sure. So, in a nutshell, Ikigai is often translated as a reason for being, but it's more than just, the big existential question of why we're here. It's about finding a sense of purpose and fulfillment in our everyday lives.
Okay, so not just like the meaning of life, but more about finding meaning in our day-to-day experiences.
Right. It's less about like finding the one perfect job or career and more about aligning your actions with what truly matters to you, what brings you joy and makes you feel alive.
I'm intrigued. So how do we actually go about discovering our own Ikigai? Is there like a formula or something?
Well, there's not exactly a step-by-step formula, but there's a framework that can be really helpful. Ikigai is often represented by 4 overlapping circles, kind of like a Venn diagram.
Okay, I'm visualizing it. 4 circles.
Yeah, so imagine these 4 circles, and where they all intersect, that sweet spot in the middle, that's your Ikigai. And each circle represents a different element.
Got it. So what are the 4 elements?
Well, the first one is probably the most obvious. What you love, your passions. Think about the activities that light you up, that you could do for hours without getting bored, the things that bring you genuine joy and make you feel energized.
Okay, that makes sense. So like hobbies, interests, things we're drawn to.
Exactly. It could be anything. Writing, playing music, dancing, gardening, solving puzzles, whatever brings you that spark.
Cool. What about the second circle?
That one's about what you're good at, your skills and talents. These could be things that come naturally to you, things you've developed over time, or even things you're just really curious about and eager to learn more about.
So both our innate abilities and things we've honed through practice and experience.
Exactly. And it's not just about, being the best at something. It's about recognizing your strengths and acknowledging what you bring to the table.
All right, 2 down, 2 to go. What's the third circle?
This is where it gets really interesting because it shifts the focus outward. The third circle represents what the world needs.
Oh, okay. So thinking beyond ourselves and considering how our passions and skills can actually make a difference.
Precisely. It's about recognizing the needs around you, whether it's in your immediate community or on a larger scale, and considering how you might contribute to solutions, to positive change.
So it's not necessarily about everyone, going out and solving huge global issues, but it's about applying our unique abilities to make things a little better, even in small ways.
Exactly. Maybe you're passionate about education, so you volunteer to tutor kids, or you're great at building things, so you help construct homes for those in need, or maybe you're just a really good listener, so you offer a supportive ear to those who are struggling.
I love that. It's about finding that intersection between what we're good at and what the world actually needs.
Right. And sometimes the connection might not be obvious at first. Like you might be thinking, well, I love playing video games. How is that going to help anyone? But it's about looking deeper, thinking outside the box. Maybe you're amazing at strategy and problem solving within those games, skills that could be transferable to other fields. Or maybe you could use your gaming knowledge to teach coding or create educational games.
That's such a good point. We often underestimate the value of our passions and how they can be applied in different contexts.
Absolutely. And then last but not least, we have the fourth circle, which brings us back down to earth a bit. What you can be paid for.
Yes, the practical element. Got to keep the lights on, right?
Exactly. This circle acknowledges that we need to sustain ourselves financially. But what's cool about Ikigai is that it suggests that even this practical aspect can be aligned with your passions and purpose.
So it's not just about taking any job that pays the bills, but finding work that feels meaningful and connected to your values.
Right. And it might take some creativity and flexibility. Maybe you can't make a living solely from your passion for underwater basket weaving, but you can incorporate elements of that passion into a related field, like teaching art or designing textiles.
So it's about finding a way to weave your passions into your work, even if it's not a perfect one-to-one match.
Exactly. And, when all four of those circles align what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, that's where you find your ikigai, your reason for being.
And it's in that sweet spot, that intersection, that we're likely to experience the most fulfillment and
Yeah.
joy, right?
Yeah. It's where our passions and skills meet a real need in the world and where we can contribute in a way that feels authentic and sustainable.
I'm really starting to understand the power of this Ikigai concept. It's not about forcing ourselves into a predetermined box, but rather about exploring our own unique strengths and passions and finding how they can intersect with the world around us.
Exactly. And it's a journey, not a destination. Your ikigai might evolve as you do, as you gain new experiences and discover new interests.
So it's about being open to change, to constantly learning and growing, and finding new ways to express our authentic selves.
Exactly. And you don't have to have it all figured out right now. The key is to start reflecting on those four elements. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? What are the needs you see around you? And how can you combine those things in a way that feels both meaningful and sustainable?
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on how to approach my own work and life. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, I'll just say that finding your ikigai might not always be easy, but it's a journey worth taking. It requires introspection, courage, and a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. But the rewards, in terms of fulfillment and purpose, can be truly life-changing.
Couldn't agree more. So for everyone listening, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on your own Ikigai. And to help you on your journey, be sure to subscribe to Pentapyramid Radio Station for more thought-provoking deep dives like this one. We love exploring these big ideas together.
And we also love hearing from you. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. Let's keep this conversation going.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep living your Ikigai.
See you next time.